Hello everybody. It has been such a long time since I've been back, and I just want to say thank you so much for all of your constant support, and I probably wouldn't have started making videos again if it wasn't for all of the lovely comments that I've been receiving. So I thought I would just come back and start filming some videos again. And I've actually had so many ideas throughout the years, and I've actually even filmed some. I just never really uploaded any because I didn't realize that anyone would want to see them. So now that I know that you guys do, I'm coming back. Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing a stationery haul that I got from Japan. And if you know me, then you know that a lot of this revolved around fountain pens, fountain pen ink, and also paper that goes well with fountain pens. I'm just going to kind of like do this in different sections because there is a lot of stuff here, as you can see. I'm going to start with inks because that is the smallest category. So here are the inks that I bought on my trip, which honestly is surprising to me. I thought I bought more, but I guess not. And here are some of the ink swatches that I have. So this, let me just flip through to find the ones that this goes along with. So as you can see, these are the Maruzen ink collection cards. And I knew I wanted to get something like this because I wanted to have kind of ink swatches of all of my inks. And this is all of the inks that I have so far. So some of them will look familiar to you and some of them are new. But as you can see, those are all of the inks that I currently have, so quite a bit. And a decent portion was bought while I was in Japan. So I think this is the most interesting bottle of ink that I got. Not really interesting in the color, but just interesting in what it is. Because I knew that when I went to Japan, first of all, I was just buying as much as I possibly could because I knew it'd be much cheaper to buy it there than in the US where I live. So, but I also wanted to buy things that were interesting and kind of hard to buy anywhere else. So this is one of them. This is also a Maruzen ink, as you can see. And when I bought it, it was 2,200 yen. And it's an Athena ink. And the reason why I bought it, honestly, was just because the bottle is very interesting looking. I actually heard of this from Inky Rock's videos and channel, and actually looking at her videos really helped me decide which stationery stores I wanted to go to. So thank you for that. And also, I'm sure if you're into fountain pens and fountain pen inks, you probably already know her channel, but if not, if you're interested in Japanese stationery, I would definitely suggest going to check out her channel. So this is the Athena ink, and I got it in a sepia color. I believe they also have black and like a blue color, so I thought this was the more interesting color. And as you can see in the swatch, there isn't much shading, there isn't that much interest in the ink, honestly. And I knew I didn't want like a basic blue or black, so I got the sepia instead. In the swatch, you can see a little bit of shading and you can see a little bit of interest, but I primarily use fine nib pens. So yeah, you really can't see much, especially when writing in cursive. But the bottle is just very interesting. She can tell you more about like what this is, but apparently it's just a very old styled Japanese bottle, and I thought that was something really cool to add to my collection. I think something I look for when I'm collecting inks is obviously properties of the ink, so colors, shading, sheen. I kind of tend to stay away from shimmers, but I do have a couple of those as well. And the other aspect that I collect that might be a little bit more out of the norm is I also kind of collect bottles and collect inks that are in interesting bottles and that I think look interesting. So when I saw this, I knew I had to get it. And it actually is a very nice writing ink as well. One of the pens that I got in Japan, this is basically the primary ink I use with it just because it goes so well together. And for me, this is like a wetter writing ink. I'm not too sure, but I do actually really love this ink. Next, I'll do this. I guess I can do all the Sailors because, as you can see, most of the things that I got were from Sailor. So I'll start with this one, and I actually got it in a set from Ancora. So if you've never heard of Ancora, it's basically a little shop in Japan, in Tokyo, where they have primarily like Sailor oriented things. I think it's owned by Sailor. So they have a lot of Sailor products, but they also have other stationery items as well. But you can kind of get specialized Ancora pens there. So I'm going to show you the full set when I'm doing the pens, but just know that this is the ink that came with the set. And also you can buy like so many other Shikiori inks or just other Sailor inks as well. And this is just the one that I chose because it was one of the Sailor inks that I was looking for a while. Oh my gosh. I showed the wrong swatch. I'm sorry. So actually, I flipped it up. This is the Maruzen Sepia ink. As you can tell, I saw the two browns and I was like, oh, same thing. No, so this is the Maruzen Athena Sepia ink. And as you can see, really no shading at all. Just a very kind of classic brown ink. Not much interest. This one has more interest. It's kind of like a brownish green with a little bit of red sheen, as you can kind of see here. But also, I've also found that when I'm writing with a fine nib and cursive, you really can't see much shading. But it is just a more interesting color in general, even when just writing with it as I do. But if you write in print, I think print has a lot more ability to see shading because you lift your pen with every stroke. So it gives a chance for the ink to pool more. Whereas with cursive, it's just one flowing line. So I do really like this ink, and I think you can see some of the interesting qualities of this ink, and the color is just interesting regardless. So yeah, I really do enjoy this ink as well. Kind of like an olive brown with a red sheen. Honestly, the sheen does not really show up when I'm writing with it, but regardless, very beautiful ink. And all of the Sailor inks I find to be just really well-mannered, really wet, just a pleasure to write with. And then this is another ink that I bought. It's a Sailor Date Gokuro. And this is, when I found it, this was like a newer collection that I haven't really seen before. And I'm not really sure what this collection is called, but yeah, black box, they have like these little swatches on them. This is a more interesting ink for sure. The shading is kind of multicolored, so you see like a lighter purple and then it almost gets into like a dark navy blue when it's the deepest color, more ink. And then there is also quite a lot of sheen on this. As you can see, it's like a deep red sheen that goes really well with the color. So I love this ink. I think it's definitely on the more interesting side, and I would definitely purchase other inks in this line. And then this is the last Sailor ink that I bought. And this was also limited edition, and I also bought this from Maruzen, if I'm not mistaken. I either bought this with Maruzen or Itoya. No, it had to be Maruzen, yeah. So this was maybe in collaboration with Maruzen, I'm not sure. Yes, Maruzen, 1,650 yen. So I thought this was beautiful, and at the time I did not have anything similar to this at all. And I'm not going to lie, I just haven't really gotten a chance to write with it that much. Also because I moved, so some of the things that I bought weren't with me when I moved. That's a whole nother story. But once again, Sailor inks are just beautiful, and this is just a really beautiful kind of dusty rose color. As you can see, the shading is quite nice. But once again, with fine nibs and cursive, I think shading just comes through a lot less. but as you can see, it's a very interesting swatch, and I think this color is really gorgeous. It reminds me of J. Herbon's Rusted Copper or something. I'm not sure what the ink color is, but I know that I've seen it a lot, and I remember admiring the color, thinking it was really pretty, and I know it's a quite popular shade as well. Maybe I will search it up and try to put it in the captions or something, but yes, beautiful, beautiful shade. And Sailor inks always work really well for me. I think Sailor inks are probably some of my favorite. If you can't tell, that it tends to be like the main ink that I go out and purchase, just because I think that they're really interesting too, usually. So then this is the only Pilot Iroshizuku that I have. And I bought this because at the time that I was in Asia, this was being discontinued. So I wanted to kind of grab it before they disappeared forever. And I think it's also a really interesting color. It's like a yellow green. It's not a color that I would honestly usually go for, but I thought it was interesting and I thought it would add something different to my collection. And once again, I had to at least get one Iroshizuku ink because first of all, tried and true, very well loved, but also the bottle I think is just beautiful and very interesting, and I like how there's that dip for the fountain pen to go into when you're on the last drops of the bottle. So yes, I procured this ink, and it does live up the hype. I think it is also just a really well-mannered ink. All of these inks I feel like you can use on cheaper quality paper and still have it not really feather, just looks really nice. And this is definitely on the wetter side as well, but very interesting color. I think this is supposed to be something like wheat. That's what the name means, and I kind of do get that feeling. I feel like this would be a really nice fall color. And as you can see, some shading, not much. And then this is the last ink that I procured. Once again, it was just a very interesting vibe, I guess. I haven't really seen much of these inks before, but for some reason I felt kind of drawn to it when I was in store. So I decided to buy it. And I like to buy darker inks as well because it just goes well with my writing style, because as I said, I usually write with finer nibs and I want my writing to be easily visible. So this is the Salon de Violet, and I'm not sure what this is called because I also apparently cannot read my own handwriting. But anyways, guitar ink. I enjoyed this ink as well. As you can see, it's another ink with not that much interesting qualities to it. It's mostly just like a very, very deep purple. I found that it almost looks like a black, but it's a little bit more interesting than a black. So that works out really well for me. So yeah, I've been also really enjoying this ink. I actually haven't touched it since I bought it. So I bought it, I used it for a while. It's been a while since I went to Japan, but yeah, I don't remember having any problems with it. But I also don't think it was necessarily my favorite. But anyways, so I did really enjoy this ink, and also the art on the box is very interesting, and I felt like this depiction was very me, and I feel like that's partially why I bought the box and I bought this ink. So yes. And as you can see, the box was kind of crushed while I was coming home, so don't mind that. And I think I should just go into my pens so I can show you some of what I guess the ink came along with. So this was the Ancora box set, and they kind of like gift box it really nicely for you. So as you can see, the pen goes here, and then everything is kind of like singularly packaged because they all also obviously can be purchased alone. So the gift set though comes with a pen, the ink, and also a converter, and I was like, yes, I want and need all of those things. So also Sailor is probably one of my favorite, actually I should do it this way so you can kind of read the writing. But Sailor is one of my favorite pen companies for sure, and I really prefer Japanese stationery and pens. So when I saw this from other creators' channels, I knew I had to go. And oh my gosh, if you only saw me in there, I was ecstatic. I was just like running around and talking to the sales associates, and I was just so excited. And we were talking about Sailor and pens together. It was just so much fun. And the shop, oh, if you're a fountain pen lover, it really is like a candy shop, okay? There's just a huge wall of inks, absolutely stunning. Everything you can try out, and you can test the inks and write with the pens. This is the main reason that I decided to go there. It is a make your own pen. I know, right? What? We can design our own pen? That is absolutely incredible. So this is my Sailor make your own pen. And now I can actually show you the nib. So as you can see, the nib says Ancora, and I chose a medium fine nib. So you have your selection of nibs, your selection of colors. So you can choose silver or gold for the nib and for the clip. And then for the band as well. And then you can choose your finial. And then you can choose basically every single section. So there's this cap section, there's the body section, and then there's this grip section, and then there's like a tiny little cap at the end, which you can also choose a different color for. So because I was so small, I decided to keep this entire body section one color, and then I chose clear for the grip, so you can kind of see the feed. I thought that looked interesting. And then also clear for this finial here, and then a rose pink for the cap. Also, I stopped a moment to go refill my pen, and this happened. And so if the frame changed a little bit, please just bear with me. So yes, so this make your own pen, I was so excited for, and I still love this pen so much. And then, as I said earlier, it came with this Shikiori ink, and then it also came with a converter that I use in here, which is this purple converter. So they had a lot of different colors for this as well. So as I said, just completely customizable, so fantastic. And I'll probably do a review on this pen as well as a comparison to my other Sailor Progress Slim that I have. And then I'll give you some of my thoughts about it, because this writes like a beauty. I just really love it. And especially with this ink, I'm just a huge fan of this pairing. So I will give you a little bit more information on that later, but everything has worked really well with this. The converter has worked splendidly, no issues at all. The pen, the feed, everything has been fantastic. So, I mean, if you ever get a chance to go to Japan and you love fountain pens, I feel like this is just a must. Because first of all, the pen was not that expensive, because this is not a Pro Gear. This is like their, I forgot what line it's called, but it's their more basic line. So this is just a steel nib. So because of that, it's just not as expensive. So, but it still writes really beautifully, and it kind of has that classic Sailor feel. So incredible. I am obsessed with this pen. And then now to move on to my other two pens that I bought. This Platinum 3776, Century 3776, and then also this Pilot 74, Custom 74. So I'll just show you the packaging. Obviously, I've unboxed these already. I've been using them for quite a while. So I'll just show you kind of what I got. So this also came, I bought this one from Itoya, and it comes with like all of the information. So like date of purchase, everything like that. The warranty, user's manual, and you know, all the paperwork. And then it came in this kind of paper box with, once again, like the little more paperwork, and then also it came with one cartridge, I believe. So that's kind of how it came. I was a little disappointed at the packaging because it's just paper, but then for the price I got it at, it was so worth it. I can't remember exactly how much I bought it for. It had to be like half the price of what distributors in America are selling this pen for. So, and I think this specific color was on sale even more, I think. So just, yes. I really love this pen. This is actually interesting because I got this Pilot Custom 74 from Ameyoko Street, actually. So was even cheaper. I think this pen probably, I only got it for like $50. And this also came with like all of the paperwork, everything like that. And then just like a, you know, classic box. And so yeah, I did my own little research. So I'm not sure if they're like, they're not like as trustworthy. It is more of like a kind of like street pen shop, but I do believe all the pens that they sell are like real pens. So I got the Custom 74 and a soft fine nib. So I love the soft fine. This is actually the only soft fine I could get, but I really wanted my Custom 376 in a soft fine as well. But because this is kind of like the niece collection and it was all like rose gold nibs, things like that, they couldn't find any. So I ended up with a medium, which I'm still happy with, but I definitely would have preferred a fine. I don't even think they had any fines. So this is kind of what I just ended up with, which is perfectly fine and makes me want to probably buy another one. Their celluloid collection looks really beautiful, so that is something that I've been keeping my eye on as well. But absolutely love this pen. And now that I have all of like kind of the basic gold nibs for all the 3 major Japanese fountain pens, and I've used them for like around a year or more, I'm definitely going to do a comparison video on all 3 just to share my thoughts about the differences in all 3 and what I think would be better for different people's preferences. So you can look forward to that. But of course, like, these pens were incredible. There's a reason why Platinum, Pilot, and Sailor are the top 3 fountain pen manufacturers in Korea. Top 3 fountain pen manufacturers in Japan. It's just because all of their craftsmanship and quality is top tier. So I don't think you could go wrong with any of these. And I'm super grateful and lucky that I got a chance to grab them. So I actually only got those 3 pens while I was in Japan. I do have one more. So I guess we could do a little unboxing. All of these different stationery shops, they have like the ability to like gift wrap all of these things for you. So my Ancora box, Ancora boxed and packaged for me really beautifully. My Platinum pen was also boxed really nicely from Itoya. So basically, if you ask them to, they'll gift wrap everything for you if you want for free, for no charge. So I guess I actually went to Japan quite a while ago, and I just haven't opened these things up because I've left them as like little treats for myself when I feel like I deserve it or like when I have accomplished something, you know, something to like give me that little hit of dopamine without purchasing more things. So this is actually really a fun treat for myself as well. I know some of the things that are in here, but some of the things I honestly kind of forgot. So let's do a little unboxing together while I also don't remember what's in here. So let's check it out. Which one should I open first? I know there's a pen in here, so I guess I'll just open this one first since we just talked about the fountain pens. So, wow, this is so fun. It's like opening up a mystery gift. So yeah, I really love how, the service is just top tier. Like, they will sit with you as you try out all the pens, and like you can take your time figuring out what you like, and then gift wrapping everything is just really lovely. So okay, so I forgot what color I got to, so that's fun. So I was also kind of planning on making a video about kind of the really basic Japanese like the most basic tier of the Japanese pens. So for example, the Pilot Kakuno and the Platinum Preppy. But then I just didn't really get a chance to, for some reason I just didn't want the Platinum Preppy because it was one of those like push out nibs, and I don't know, I just wasn't really that interested in that. So I could still do that, absolutely. If you're interested, please let me know. But for now, I'll just show you what I got from this strip. So they put it in this plastic, which is also really nice. So I see 2 notebooks and 1 pen. Wow, okay, I really forgot. So what is this? Oh, this is an Itoya notebook. Interesting. So it's an Itoya brand notebook and an A6 size, which is perfect. I knew what I liked. And this looks like it's a grid. I do like grids. And so this is why I also bought so many notebooks, because I love how Japanese notebooks usually tend to have thinner lines, because I write really small, as you've probably seen if you've been on my channel before. So I really wanted to buy some Japanese products because they are my favorite. So I got this, which I can try out. I thought it was interesting that it's a Itoya brand. And then I also got this Graphilo notebook. I think I also might have heard of this from Inky Rox's channel because she lives in Japan. So I was like, of course she knows all the best places and all the best Japanese stationery. So this was, I think, quite expensive. It was definitely more expensive than I thought it would be. But I thought, hey, I'm here, might as well check it out. So I don't know what any of this says because I don't read Japanese. But, oh wow, that's nice. It comes with a blotting paper, which is always nice to have on hand. And this is just plain white paper. It has no lines or anything like that. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna use this for yet, especially because I don't really use this size, and I also mostly use lined paper, so I'm not really sure what I was thinking of using this for when I bought it, but I'm sure I'll find some use for it. So anyways, that's what was in that package. And then to open this up, so I haven't written with this yet, obviously. I just opened it up so I can do a little writing test and see how it is, because I've just heard so many raves about this pen, and especially with it being so cheap. So I just thought I had to try it out.